How's it going, everybody? Wanted to do a quick first impressions video on The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which is something I didn't start recently, but I'm about 60 pages in so far and thought I would make a quick first impressions of it because it's kind of been on my mind lately. So Brandon Sanderson, I can already tell just from the first, I think the book almost starts like 3 times if I remember correctly. There's like a prologue, another entrance, and then like another, I don't know. But I can already tell that Brandon Sanderson, the world that he's creating in these books is just larger than life. There's a lot of history, a lot of magic, a lot of rules that you have to follow. Defying gravity, interesting landscapes, environments that are interactive and feed off of your emotions. His magic system seems pretty interesting. Being able to walk on walls and have very powerful weapons that everybody covets. The history behind some of these characters, which I'm sure will play a bigger part later on in the story. I think one of the coolest things that I've come across so far that I haven't really seen before in the fantasy books that I've read, the Spren. I forget the exact name of it, but like Fear Spren or they're like whatever there's like an emotion and then Spren after it. And it's these little like woodland kind of spirits or something, or fairies, or that feed off of your emotions. So if you're afraid, they kind of hover around you and kind of feed off of whatever your mood is. And I thought that was a really interesting detail that I've never seen before in fantasy. I think a lot of authors are so focused on the characters themselves and the magic system and the way that all the characters interact with each other that the landscapes, I've never seen a landscape that's acting alive like the environment is in this book. I was instantly impressed within the first, couple pages. I can already tell that Brandon Sanderson is probably going to be a favorite author of mine. I know it's a daunting task to start this series, but it intrigues me. I think there's 4 books out right now. I'm obviously on the first one. And I mean, they're all enormous like this. And they're enormous, and it's the bigger kind of copy. This series, I decided to get the bigger one. It just felt better, like when they have those mass market paperbacks where they're really, the book would have to have been even thicker than that, and just it seemed easier to read it like this. I think it's easy to tell why his name has become so popular. I don't remember exactly how I heard of him or how he got his start, but I know that he finished Robert Jordan's Eye of the World, or not Eye of the World. I'm kind of blanking on the name right now, but Robert Jordan's epic series, Eye of the World, which is also one I'm on. I know that Brandon Sanderson finished Robert Jordan's series after he passed away. So I don't know if that's how he got his start, or how if he had other books prior to that. I would imagine that he must have had something out before finishing Robert Jordan's series. But this is the first time that I'm being introduced to Sanderson, and I can already tell that it's going to be a treat to read. I'd like to know, if you can, describe things without any spoilers for me, but what makes you like Sanderson? Because every time I go to the bookstore, I always pass by his books. They're enormous, and it excites me because you can tell when with fantasy epics that are big like that, how daunting of a task it is for the author to try to do that and have a coherent storyline And you can tell that I think authors with epic fantasies really take the time to put a lot of time and care and detail into their work. And that's something that I really appreciate. So if you can, without any spoilers, leave a comment on what you like the most about Sanderson. Because I know that one of his new books came out, Emerald's Tress of the Emerald Sea, if I'm getting that correctly. I know that I've walked by that one at the bookstore and wanted to not pick that one up, but I wanted to start this series first, because it seems like I haven't heard a one negative thing about this series yet. So I'm really looking forward to reading more of it. I'm going to try to keep on it, because I tend to start a lot of books, read 50 pages, read 100 pages, and then move on to the next thing. Same thing I did with Robert Jordan's, I can't think of the name of the series right now, but the first book, The Eye of the World, I've started that one. And I'm also rereading Game of Thrones right now. I haven't read the whole series, but I'm on book 1. Again, I read book 1 maybe like 10 years ago and really, really loved it, because I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. But I'm excited to dive into another epic fantasy world, because I just like to see how different authors compare their worlds and approach their characters and approach all of just the way that their world lives and breathes inside of their book. So leave a comment on what you think you like the most about Brandon Sanderson. And when I do a book review for this, I'll see if I can agree or disagree with anything that you said. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you later.